Welcome dear chess friends in the 15 minutes video of Caro-Kann e5 c5 for black. So, this is a very important video because already by watching this you really can play the lines. This time more than ever I think, if you watch this you can already start playing the lines. You will know more than a lot of strong players I guess. Because here it's very important to understand the directions for black. So c3. First move that we check is c3. After c3 my recommendation is simple, knight c6. If I place knight f3, it's bad move order, because you can develop the bishop to g4, but not immediately. First you take on d4. If you play bishop g4, dc5, and white is slightly better here. So we take on d4 and bishop g4, no problem for black. That's why bishop e2 is more tricky move order, but now we have a nice idea, nice way to solve all the problems. We can take and play queen b6. If knight f3 to defend the pawn, bishop g4, e6, knight e7 next, black is doing great. If knight c3, critical move, we can take, knight d5, take, and rook b8. And this is just an equal endgame. So we can solve the c3 move in this way. If white plays knight f3, very important line, we play cd4. If white captures with the knight, knight c6, knight a6 is the main line. So we take, bishop d3, e6, normal play, a5, why a5? Because very often we play bishop a6, knight d2, knight e7. If queen e2, stopping bishop a6, we have knight g6 with knight f4 idea. Knight f3 logical to prevent knight f4, just bishop e7, castle, h4, and we're in time to play f6. Important move. That's about queen e2. If I place knight f3, now is good moment to exchange the bishops. Take, take, c4, knight g6, queen e2. Now most players play d4, but no need to play d4. You can also play rook a8, bishop e7 next, and black is fine. So that's about knight ac6. But white also has the tricky move bishop b5. It's rare, but it's tricky. Because if you play bishop d7, best move, knight c6. Now if you take with the pawn, bishop d3 and you have a bad version, okay, white lost a tempo. But if you compare this version to this one, now you have a5 bishop a6 plan. Here you don't have a5 bishop a6 plan. So we take with the bishop. And if white takes, okay, now it's a better version of knight c6 because we don't even need to spend time for a5 bishop a6. But if white plays bishop d3, very important move, d4. If short castle, we have queen d5. That's quite important. If I play c4, the most practical solution is to take and go for this endgame. e6, knight e7 next, the structure looks bad, but in fact the pawn on c6 supports the idea e6, knight e7, knight d5. Even if white will have a knight on c3, you can play knight e7, knight d5, thanks to the pawn on c6. That's why this is a good endgame for black. And also white can take with the queen. This is a tricky line, knight c6, queen f4. And now our recommendation is not e6, the most trendy line, the mainstream line we can say, but f6. Very nice side line. It was played in the game Grishuk-Dreyev. Dreyev managed to beat Alexander Grishuk. We speak about this in chapter 1. The key points are that after bishop b5, Grishuk move, and important move, we play g5, queen a4 and g4. Now, e bishop c6, knight d4, fe5, queen c6. Now, very important moment, don't play bishop d7, because after queen d5 you cannot take on d4 because queen h5 mate, yeah? But here you have queen d7, and here is huge compensation. Knight f6, bishop g7 next, central pawns, very good compensation here. Initiative maybe sometimes. If I place knight d4, this Grishuk move, we can take, and no problem for black. The best move for white is probably knight c3. And here we can play not e6, very important moment because of knight b5, and ef6 idea with knight c7 next, but a6 preventing knight b5, preventing bishop b5. If let's say white takes, no problem here, e6, bishop d6, no problem. Sometimes the queen on f4 can also be misplaced. And that's about the move knight f3, which is extremely popular nowadays. Now let's go for the main line dc5. We play e6. It's like a French, tempo down for black, but from the other hand we forced white to take on c5, yeah? So, good version for black because white took on c5, bad version for black because white has an extra tempo. These two things together make the position balanced, yeah? So it's a balanced position, it will be fine for black. If white wants to keep the pawn with bishop e3, we play knight d7. Now, okay, if white doesn't keep the pawn, now, okay, we just take and it's good French. But if I place bishop b5 to keep the pawn because the knight is pinned, we play knight e7, knight f3, knight f5, b5 necessary move if you want to keep the pawn, a6, a5. While a6, sometimes the bishop on a4 can stay worse, yeah? c3, take, g6, bishop g7 next, very good position. Probably the best line for white is bishop d4. But here we can play knight f5, c3, bishop e7, knight d2 castle, knight b3, white wants to keep the pawn. Very important moment, b6. Important move. If white takes the pawn, we will have huge compensation. In Benko style, because we have open files against the queenside pawns. If c6, logical move, we play knight c5, and our idea is simply a6, queen takes c6, and black will be fine. So this is how to solve all the problems in the bishop e3 variation. If white plays a3, bishop c5, and b4, it will transpose. So before here, we play bishop e7, knight f3, f6 transposes to move 5, knight f3. So we can go for knight f3 now. Yes, here white can play a3, f6 before bishop e7. Of course, this is an important line, but what are the key points? Bishop b2, a5. Important move e5. Why? Because after b5, knight d7, we have the c5 square for the knight. Now bishop d3 is positional line, but after knight h6, white should be very careful, because here the main move is castle, but it's a huge mistake. Amazing that this is a huge mistake. After knight f7, here black is already better. e5 next, and black has a big advantage. Best move for white is queen e2. And now you can play castle, c4, knight f7, and black is fine. If I play c4, we can just take on e5, knight f6, and easy play. Another line for white is bishop d3 here. Normal development. And now we don't play knight e7, knight c6, but we play f6, concrete move, to solve all the problems immediately. After ef6, natural move. Okay, we just play castle. And here we have a very nice move, e5, knight e5, knight c6. And this huge compensation. Knight g4 next, f2, problems with f2 pawn, huge compensation. Initiative also. Castle main move, we play knight c6. Bishop f4 is logical to support the pawn on e5, but g5 and black is fine. Bishop g3, black is better after f5. Bishop e3 is the best, but here we can take and the position is equal, but of course very interesting to play. Queen e2 is the critical continuation. We can play take, knight f6. Castle, bishop d6 next. We are not afraid of bishop b5 check because king f7, black would be just fine. So that's about the knight f3 move. Of course, white can also play queen g4 here. Knight e7, okay, here there's some concrete lines, better that we check this. Chapter 9, of course. Or white can play queen g4 here, preventing bishop takes c5. Now we play h5, queen f4, bishop takes c5. Bishop d3 and knight c6. Knight f3, and now very important move, f6. Bishop g6, king f8. You say thank you to white because you have knight g7 with tempo against the bishop on g6. If castle, again g5, and also here black is better. Winning, not better, winning. And if queen g3, the best move, queen c7, this is the easiest solution, g5, and good endgame. Knight f6 next, good endgame. But white also has tricky lines, for example bishop d3. This is a very tricky move because if you play bishop c5, now queen g4 will be a better version for white. Because one thing is a3, bishop c5, queen g4, but bishop d3 is more useful than a3, of course. And so here we play knight d7. After knight f3, now we take with the knight on c5, because there is bishop on d3, and we attack the bishop, of course. If castle, we just take, and knight e7, no problem. Of course, you need to be a bit accurate, but we'll check more about this in the chapter of bishop d3. And also tricky move is the move c3. Also here, if you take on c5, queen g4, and here, problems on g7. That's why also here, same logic like bishop d3, we play knight d7, knight f3, but now it's different. The bishop is on f1, not on d3. That's why we take on c5 with the bishop, not with the knight. Bishop c5. So remember, against bishop d3, you take with the knight. Against c3, we take with the bishop. Bishop d3, f6, black is better. Bishop d3, bad move. Knight d2 is the best. Prophylactic move against f6, because white has knight b3, knight d4 ideas. But queen b6, easy solution. Queen e2, queen a6. If queen d1, just repetition. If you want to avoid the repetition, you can also play a5 here. And if white takes, this is just very good endgame. Don't worry about the pawns. They are not bad. That's very important concept, yeah? Not bad pawns. Yes, and with this we come to the end of this video. Strangely enough, we were very quick this time because, you know, I always make this 15 minutes video. And I'm always not in time, yeah, in the 15 minutes. And always I say, next time I should be in time. So this time I try to work hard to select the really most important lines. But it turns out that it's a 10 minutes video, not a 15 minutes video, yeah? But I'm pretty sure that you know already all the important informations. And you can already start to play the lines. Of course, during the video, maybe there were some moments where you thought, okay, but no, it's not so clear. In that moment, you can check the chapter, yeah? You can start to do this. And then slowly you will check all the chapters one by one. For now, I wish you good luck in studying. We have made incredible videos with Alexei. You will really enjoy to watch them. Thanks for watching this one for the moment, and see you very soon in the theoretical videos. Bye.